Are you looking to grow revenues, increase profitability, or obtain financing? If so, you came to the right place.
Running a business is all about leadership. How do you become a better leader? Learn from the successful entrepreneurs and business owners how to lead your organization more effectively. That's why we created Leadership Live at 8:05, Talking Small Business, to help you succeed with your host, Andrew Frazier, Business Growth Pro and CFO and founder of the Small Business Pro University. Every Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern, we're joined by experienced entrepreneurs and business owners who share their secrets to success via Livestream. Also, every Friday morning, we release a new podcast episode. Either way, you will learn about developing your business leadership skills from our roster of highly performing guest experts. Leadership Live is one of the many valuable resources provided through the Small Business Pro University, empowering business owners to learn, profit, and grow. Find out more at sbprou.com.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Leadership Live at 8:05. It's Tuesday night. I'm Andrew Frazier, your host, and excited about just taking a little bit more time to talk to you about things that can help you be a more successful entrepreneur and business owner. As you know, each week we have a special guest and really talk about key things that can help you become a better leader, because at the end of the day, your organization is going to move forward based on how prepared you are to move it forward. And a lot of that preparation is developing your leadership skills and leadership abilities. So that's really what we're here. This show is for you. Thank you for joining. Because it's for you, definitely invite you to comment, ask questions, and really participate in the episode. We've got a great guest this evening, and we're going to learn a lot from her. And definitely feel free to ask questions. So tonight we have Lori Brooks, the producer at Small Business with Lori Brooks, but that's only a little bit of what she does. She focuses on innovative solutions that provide more time for entrepreneurs and business owners. And who couldn't use a little bit more time? I know I could. So I'm looking forward to talking to her about it. So I'm sure all of us will take some valuable lessons and ideas and strategies away from what we're talking about tonight. So welcome, Lori. Thanks for joining me this evening, and look forward to chatting with you.
Andrew, thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
Okay, excellent. So, definitely we actually met through the power of LinkedIn, and we really had a chance to chat and connect over the last couple years
ago. Yeah, it's been about
you've been doing some great stuff. Yeah. So I'm excited to have you on the show as a guest, and let's start out by just sharing your journey. Take a few minutes to talk about sort of where you came from and how you got to where you are.
Certainly. So again, thank you for having me, Andrew. And to start, truly my journey started back in 2009. I was an associate financial rep with Northwestern Mutual. I was licensed with my life accident and health licenses. I was studying for my investment licenses and was then diagnosed with Crohn's disease. At that point, I recognized very quickly that I was not interested in being in under a corporate umbrella or keeping up with numbers for a corporation of any sort, dealing with the sort of illness that I had been diagnosed with. So I made the decision at that point to begin consulting and working with other financial advisors on building their financial practice. So I would assist them with figuring out innovative solutions to not only find new opportunities in their practice, but also save time throughout their day-to-day processes on what they were doing. So I started off, consulting and coaching and For the marketing end of the business, I, as you know, years ago came up with the idea to launch the Technology Equals Equality podcast, which took on a life of its own and has now morphed into the Small Business with Lori Brooks show. I have gone on to also write 2 books, The Prism Method, as well as More Time, which is what we're here to discuss this evening. So the book is now becoming a digital program, which will be launched this year in 2022. So that, in a nutshell, is 2009 through till today.
Okay, great. So, you haven't been doing a little bit of stuff. Definitely it takes a lot to do these things and pull them together. And you're working on an exciting community and just really bringing more resources to the table. So, um, you know, definitely when we talk about more time and needing more time as an entrepreneur and business owner, um, one of the things I talk about to people I'm coaching, people I'm consulting is uh, a lot of times people don't focus on the most important things. Is that something you find, and how do you help them to be able to focus on the right thing?
Well, it comes down to truly defining what the income generating activities are in any given practice. And that varies from industry to industry. But in financial services, of course, the true income generating activity is having the opportunity to sit down and spend time with their clients. And in order to come up with that time, they need to be able to move through their back end processes as fast as humanly possible. So when they have had an opportunity to sit down with a client and they sign those papers, be it life insurance or a 529 plan or an investment program, they're coming back to the office to then actually take action on those pieces, on the contracts that they've now written out for their clients. And there's a number of different steps that it takes to write the contracts, to transfer funds from one institution to the next. And all of those intricate little pieces can be managed in a number of different ways, be it delegating out to a team member or a tool or technology that can go ahead and manage that. So that's truly what I assist my clients in doing, is defining what the income generating activities are, and then defining what solutions we can put in place to streamline the activities that they move throughout the day.
Okay, great. And definitely in the financial services industry, it's a little bit easier for them to focus on what their primary role is because they know they need to sell. And but what I find is, in my book, chapter 2, it's what is your most important job? Because most business owners don't know that. They come into business for whatever reason. They want to do the best product or the best service or whatever. But at the end of the day, your job is to market and stuff and bring in business to the company. And a lot of times they don't really know how to sell. And I'll put myself, I came into the business coaching and consulting. I'd sold retail, had done different things, but not really had to sell to, be successful in what I was doing, or at least not sell products or services directly. So, but then I did spend some time in the financial services industry and learned a lot about selling. So one thing, maybe if you could take a minute and just share, some selling best practices, because as a business owner, that's your most important job, but a lot of them need to learn how to do it better.
Right. No, definitely. It's relationships, building relationships with people. Building out that relationship doesn't just start with prospecting and getting in front of your clients. The relationship starts when the sale is complete. It's the follow up with your clients. It's the follow up to make sure that they are being served 100% to the best of your ability as a business owner, as a salesperson, as a consultant, as a coach, whatever that role is that you take on. Making sure that your clients and your community is being served is truly what makes it possible to actually grow your practice.
Okay, great. So yeah, so definitely it's about relationships and developing with your clients and potential clients. So that's excellent. So we're going to talk more about the strategies you have for being able to get more time as an entrepreneur and business owner. But before we do that, we're going to take a quick break. We bring this show to you through the Small Business Pro University. So it would help for people to know what the Small Business Pro University is. So we're going to just take a quick minute for a video, and then we'll be back with Lori Brooks talking small business. Looking forward to it. Thanks, Lori. Do you own your business, or does it own you? Is your business growing, and are you making enough money? As a business owner, there are so many things you need to know to become more successful. Hello, my name is Andrew Frazier, the Business Growth Pro and CFO. I created the Small Business Pro University for you. Small Business Pro University has self-paced, dynamic, multimedia learning experiences created by more than 20 instructors who are business owners just like you. Small Business Pro University will empower you to become a masterpreneur by learning the secrets to creating a successful enterprise, to go from working in your business to working on your business. Take advantage of our strategic coaching program, or just simply choose the courses that you need. At www.sbprou.com, we will empower you to thrive and not just survive, and make more money in any business environment. Welcome back to Leadership Live at 8:05. I'm Andrew Frazier here with Lori Brooks, and also known as Lori B. And, just hanging out, talking small business. And, one of the things that, I run into, I'm sure you run into as well, is, I always tell people to focus on what they do best and most profitably, and try and find other ways to take care of other things. Like you said, delegation, technology, but many times that's difficult for people. How do you help them through that to either see the light, or when they see the light, to actually do what the light is telling them to do?
I love that. So I call that mode wino mode, where they're working in and not on their business. And a lot of my clients come to me with that scenario. And we start off with what I call the PRISM method. This is the first pillar of the More Time program. It stands for Perceived Reality Inspires Successful Minds. Because honestly, Andrew, I feel like it's more than just what you do well that you have to focus on. It's also what you enjoy and appreciate doing throughout the day that you should be focused on. So the PRISM method, what we do is there's 5 practice areas, and I help my clients figure out what it is they are looking to create for their future self. We do that through a series of questions, a series of dialogue, and then we develop a strategy that'll help them keep that focus area seamlessly in front of them throughout their day. Hopefully that answered the question. I apologize. Let me know if I didn't answer the question.
Okay, no problem. So yeah, definitely you want to keep what you're focusing on in front of you. I like that you said also things that you enjoy and appreciate. But what happens if the things you enjoy and appreciate don't make you any money? Then what do you tell?
Well, we go about finding ways to. It's not just what you enjoy and appreciate. So I thank you for allowing me the opportunity to clarify. So what we're doing with the PRISM method is we're looking at what the steps are that you need to engage in order to generate the income. So we're looking at what the income generating activities are and what pieces of those activities you truly want to be engaging in. So thank you for making me clarify that piece, Andrew.
Excellent. So yeah, so definitely that. But definitely people go into business for different reasons, but nobody goes into business to go out of business, or at least I hope not.
I would hope not.
So definitely, when you're talking about working in your business versus working on your business, I help a lot of people figure out how to do that, because one of the keys to being able to do that is, one, you actually have to use numbers, because you have to measure your performance, and you have to you can't improve upon anything that you don't measure. You have to create systems, processes, and procedures, because you have to standardize, so that there's a consistent experience for people, and also so you can train and develop other people to take on other roles, which is key as well. But one of the most important things is you have to grow, because if your business isn't growing, you're not going to be able to take on more responsibility and move up the chain, so you can focus on working on your business and have other people working in your business. So I'm sure you work with people who are trying to transition from just being the solo to more of an organization. What are some of the key challenges, and how do you help them overcome the challenges?
Key challenges are really trying to figure out which processes they can go ahead and delegate. So again, in pillar 3 of the program, that's where we are truly mapping out the team members, the roles, how those hats, should be functioning in your practice, and how those personalities can match up with it. So we put the team members through a survey process that helps us define who they are and what roles serve them best in terms of the hats that they're wearing as the team members. So what we're doing is we're really defining, okay, this is the role that we brought you on for. These are the duties that have been delegated to your hat. But how does this work throughout the throughout the process of a week? How does your role truly fit into the grand scheme of the income generating activities? And where we're looking at the personality, their interests, their abilities, and then the opportunities that also exist within the practice for them to grow into. So it's really an evaluation period that we put each of the team members through, or their prospects that we're onboarding. And again, I take the clients from what I consider to be wino mode, where they're working in and not on their business, where they're really performing all of these activities in a personal manner, or their team members are, dealing with a lot more than they feel as though they're capable of managing throughout the week. And we evaluate their activities, how they're performed, whether or not they're truly appreciating what they're doing, and then how we can alleviate some of the activities that they're doing with tools and technology, as well as batching their processes in order to move them forward.
Okay, excellent. So, wino mode. Tell me a little bit more about wino mode.
Again, I believe that's what I was just describing, when they are truly working in and not on their business. And we move into boss mode where they're building out those operations to support their success. So we start off with the PRISM method in the first pillar of the program. Then
Yeah.
we move on to their operations implementation, where we are really clarifying what those processes are for their income generating activities. Then we move on to the third pillar, where we're looking at the roadmap that we truly want for their business to go down, what opportunities exist. And the final pillar of the program is looking at the tools, technology, and team members that we can delegate those pieces to in order to make that roadmap a reality.
Okay. All right. I might have to borrow the wino thing. So basically, you're stumbling around trying to run your business.
Wearing too many hats, exactly, as we entrepreneurs tend to do, you know?
Yes. So,
It
okay.
really was birthed from a need for more time myself, you know? At the time when I began coaching and consulting, I was a single mom, and as I mentioned, diagnosed with a chronic illness. And, wearing the hat of mom, wearing the hat of, a patient, as well as the many other areas of life that we all serve in. Um, we all find moments in life where we wish there could be more time. And when we go through the second pillar of the program, I'm capable of opening up approximately 15 days annually for my clients. So, Andrew, what could you do with an extra 15 days a year? A
So,
lot. A
yeah.
lot. You can spend more time with family. You can sell more. You could create new programs. You could build out items in the metaverse.
Okay. I could do all the things on my honey-do list.
There you go.
So,
Those two, right?
yeah, so definitely more time would be good. So excellent. And that strategy that you laid out, is that your 4D strategy or is that something different?
The strategy that I laid out is more time in full as a program. It stands for mindset transformation, operations implementation, realistically mapping it out so you can execute and expand. So that stands for more time. The 4D strategy that you're mentioning is actually one of the time saving strategies that we implement initially to help my clients. So it truly is a piece that can be hung up in an office space, added to the home screen of a mobile device, just to keep forefront in your mind as to how to move through your processes a little bit quicker on a regular basis. So 4D stands for delete, delegate, dominate, and delay. So delete, of course, if it's not something that is going to generate income, you should probably take it off your list, get it out of there. It's not something you need to perform in order to generate income. Twofold, if it's not something that you need to perform to have a fulfilling day, to feel fulfilled, to be happy at the end of the day, definitely take it off your list. There's no need for you to be performing whatever the action is, obviously. Delegate, as we spoke about a moment ago, is really finding the tools or the team members. So whether it be technology or a physical team member that you're delegating the task to, if it's not something you personally need to perform in order to generate the income, delegate it out. Delay is setting things on a recurring schedule. So, for instance, one of the things that I find my clients spend most of their time doing during the day is checking email. It seems to be more of a hobby for most entrepreneurs than it is an actual necessary activity. We receive hundreds of emails throughout the day, throughout the course of a week, throughout the course of a month. There's probably about 20% of those emails that we honestly need to interact with and deal with. There are so many ways that we can cut down on the amount of time we spend in our inbox throughout the day. We can set it on a recurring schedule and set an autoresponder for those that we know may be contacting us, to let them know when it is we will be checking email, and the easiest way to reach you directly if there is an urgent matter. So first and foremost, I set my clients on a schedule for email. Check it once in the morning, once in the afternoon. As we go throughout the program, we further that schedule. So it may be twice a week that they check email. Sometimes we get it down to once a week that they're checking email, depending on what kind of email they're truly anticipating and what it is that they need to interact with. On top of that, I'm pretty sure in 2022, we should all know that inbox filters exist. And if you're not using them, implement them today. The ability to save yourself the mind space from just having to look at the massive amount of items in your inbox daily is enormous. I personally go to inbox zero every single day. Absolutely every single day, my inbox is at zero, just by using filters and using the autoresponder and recognizing that not every single piece of mail clearly needs to be reviewed. So delete, delegate, delay, and dominate. Dominate is where you're really streamlining what it is you're doing with any particular activity. So for salespeople, obviously you need to make sales calls. You're not going to be making them randomly throughout the day. You want to batch that time and schedule it out. So really blocking your time in your calendar and making sure to batch whatever those actions are that you need to take. So say you need to develop content, schedule out some time knowing that you'll be able to sit down, be creative, create a batch of content and have it prepared for future date. So delete, delegate, dominate, and delay. That's the 4D strategy.
Okay. All right. I like it. So what is your favorite word and part of the 4D strategy?
I definitely would go with delete.
Delete. Okay.
I'm a big fan of taking things out of my schedule all the time.
All right. Well, dominate is all right too. So
Definitely.
So that's cool. So you're doing some good things. You mentioned something I'm guilty of is email checking. I'm very up to date on my emails. So
I'm gonna say 99% of your viewers are probably doing that.
Right. So, but I could probably benefit from being a little more, taking certain times of the day. But, one of my policies, even when I was in corporate for my team, it was every email every day, because you have to communicate and respond. Even if you don't solve the question, you at least want to get to everyone and communicate back if you need to. So,
and that's how the autoresponder really serves you. So of course, customize it to yourself and make sure that those that are going to be receiving the autoresponder clearly have a way to contact you if need be in a more urgent manner. You don't want to just leave people out in the wind and have them not have a clue as to when you might be getting back to them. The autoresponder is a very important piece of putting the email on a recurring schedule. So
Okay. So that, and then I guess you could also use virtual assistants or assistants, depending on the size of your organization and what you can afford. So that's cool. So what are some of the other technology solutions that you work to employ? So you mentioned autoresponder. Is there one that you recommend? And other things.
That's really dependent on your email solution. So that's really going into personalized tools and tech. And for every business owner, that varies. So some business owners use Google email. Some business owners have their own corporate email. So it really depends on the type of email provider that they're using, how that would be set up and initiated.
Okay. So those depend. And I've got Lori's website up there if you want to check her out, learn a little bit more about what she's doing, and we'll tell you a little bit more about some things she's got on there later in the show. So great. So we've covered a lot of ground. So we've got the 4D strategy. You've got your more time. You said we don't want to be a wino, all that good stuff. So we're learning some useful things. So definitely, appreciate you sharing. We've got several guests on. So hey, Karen, how you doing tonight? Thanks for your note. And definitely, as I mentioned before, if you want to put a comment in or a question, Lori's here. If you are running into a question that concerning being able to create more time for yourself, where your challenges might be, or anything else that's associated, definitely feel free to add them to the comments, and we'll see from there. So hey, Karen, welcome. Good to have you here. And let's see. So what I'd like to do is, you do the more time, but you're also very involved in technology and, looking at things that you can do with your business and other people's business utilizing technology as a solution for more time, but also as a solution for moving your business forward in a good way and growing your business. So definitely want to talk to you more about that, because I think that's a key component of many things that us as small business owners really need to think about and be aware of. So we're going to get into that. But first, many of you know I do the Power Breakfast for the last 10 years. And, we've had over 1,000 attendees. We've helped people get millions of dollars in financing in economic activity. And we had our first one since the pandemic back in October. And, due to Omicron and the resurgence, we had pushed back our date. We were scheduled for January 28th, but we're pushed back till March 24th. So anybody who is in the New York, New Jersey area, definitely feel free to come out live. And actually, this will be our first one that we're going to live stream as well. So definitely you don't want to miss it. If you don't know what the Power Breakfast is, or you've never experienced one, that's where we supercharge your day. And here's a quick video to tell you a little bit more about it. If you are looking to increase revenues, improve profitability, and or obtain financing for your business, you need to check out the Power Breakfast and Small Business Pro conferences. My name is Andrew Frazier. One of the things we're here to do is supercharge your day.
Today's Power Breakfast has really been a phenomenal experience. I think it's exactly what business owners need, some true guidance of people who are genuine and really are leading them in the true direction of business growth and expansion.
The Power Breakfast is so important for the entrepreneurial community because it gives the various business people who come together an opportunity to interact and also do some business.
These events, hosted by Andrew Frazier, President and COO of Small Business Like a Pro, will supercharge your day.
Good evening. I'm back with Lori Brooks, and we're talking small business. We've been talking about how you can get more time with your business and be able to focus on the most important things, go from being a wino to working on your business and growing it. And that's where we want to be. So one of the things that Lori has done is she's got her show that she's been doing, and it's been evolving. Technology moves so fast that what you did 2 years ago may be outdated. So in this environment, almost every business needs to be a media company. So even though I do coaching, consulting, and training, my business has transformed into a media business.
Yeah.
Everybody, to be, have your business viable now and in the future, you have to interact with media to some extent. And, the more you interact in the media, usually the better it is. So, we met when you were early on with your show. So talk a little bit about what your show is and how it's evolved over the last few years.
Certainly. So the show started off as the Technology Equals Equality podcast. And I have been interviewing small business owners. We chat about the theme of the show is to hear the journey, find the challenges, and create solutions. So we start the show diving into the actual story of the entrepreneur's journey long before entrepreneurship became a part of their daily life. Then we talk about the steps that they have taken to actually, become an entrepreneur, what those look like, what the difficulties were, what they felt really helped them. Then we talk about their current day practice. And I wrap up the show in hopes of providing the viewers with a new business idea by diving into the current challenges for our guest. So we look at what it is they may be struggling with in their practice or what it is they wish they could change in their practice so that we can then provide, different sorts of ideas for those that are viewing or listening to the podcast to develop a new business model or a new app or a new business idea of some sort from the challenge shared. Throughout the years, the podcast was something that truly began growing in the audience size, in the interest level of those looking for solutions for themselves, not just a way to create a new business, but actually looking for the solutions for their practice. So as the show evolved, I began focusing more on what solutions we could discuss during the episodes, what has really helped the entrepreneurs get to where they are. I found that was of greater interest to the listeners. And last year, I then decided to break into video finally. So I transformed it into a YouTube channel. And from there, then decided that why not move on to TV since we were capable, and we launched the Roku channel. So we are now the Small Business with Lori Brooks show on Roku, but we also maintain the sister show of the podcast on Anchor and also Podbean.
Okay. All right. So you're all over the place, and doing great things, And so now you expanded. So what made you expand from just doing the show? And definitely partially technology, things have become available, but what has been the results of doing that as well?
So it made me recognize how much of a community truly existed out there in terms of entrepreneurs who were still really looking for a solution to grow, a solution to gain clarity, and a solution to accomplish what they were looking to accomplish without dedicating every last living moment to doing so. So what I've done is I've actually opened up the small business weekly community on Geneva, which you are a member of. And the community is really designed to provide those bits of information, that bit of knowledge and assistance to open up the opportunities that truly do exist for entrepreneurs online. The number of tools and technology that have blossomed throughout the past decade since I launched initially, back in 2009, the show was back in 2014, are exponential. And the number of ways that an entrepreneur can go about marketing themselves is exponential. As you mentioned, as a small business owner, a coach, a consultant, you're no longer just a coach or consultant. You do truly have to become partially a media company. There's a number of different ways that you can market yourself without having to be on national television. You can still put yourself on television, as you can see with the Small Business with Lori Brooks show. There's a number of different solutions to get your name out there, and it doesn't have to be as expensive as it once was. Technology truly has created equality in the sense of the ability to market yourself in multiple ways to millions of people globally without spending a dime.
Okay. That always rings well with me, especially having being outsourced CFO and a finance guy. Not spending a dime.
There you go.
Always sounds good when you're in business and getting results. You're talking about marketing, which is one of the most important jobs of a business owner. And one thing that I find is a lot of times people way overspend on marketing, and they spend on the wrong things, so they don't really get good results. And it's really got to be an investment, and you got to look at it as an investment and measure to make sure that it's a good investment. So talk to me a little bit about how people can market more effectively and how they should be thinking about marketing for their business.
It truly is focus. So it is a matter of recognizing what it is you're trying to personally accomplish in your practice, whether you're a baker, a coach, a consultant, an online fitness coach. It really doesn't matter what it is. Figure out what the tools are that you appreciate interacting with. That is one of the biggest pieces to start off with. And I think it's something that people neglect to pay attention to when they're choosing to lay out a marketing plan for themselves or for a small business. If you don't appreciate the tools or technology, you're not going to interact with it. You're just not going to do what you need to do to move your business forward. So first and foremost, you have to define what it is you truly want to be doing. Then from there, you can actually look at how those tools can actually be layered on with other tools and technology that might assist you in growth. So for instance, with social media platforms themselves, such for LinkedIn, where we are hosting this, or YouTube, if you're going to choose that platform because you enjoy being on that platform, then start looking at what tools, apps, or other technologies exist that layer in with the platform that you appreciate in order to start seeing how they can serve you in your practice.
Okay, great. And you said something that's extremely important. So I'm going to repeat it 3 times. Plan, and plan. So you don't want to go out there, especially with your marketing, without a plan. Because really what you're doing is you're just out there winging it, doing random things that may or may not work. And most likely probably won't work that well. So you want to have some sort of plan or strategy or alignment behind what you're doing. So definitely, that's an important point that I wanted to emphasize that you shared, because that's critical, and so many business owners skip over that step to their detriment. So
yeah, you have to look at the market that you're trying to serve, the message that you're trying to get out to them, and then the method in which you want to provide that message. And then from there, you can truly start to plan out your marketing plan.
Right. And but the other thing you said is do the one that you understand and enjoy. So that's just like when you ask someone, what's the best diet?
Right.
It's a diet that you actually follow.
Exactly.
So, definitely it's important also to be committed to it. But also, if it makes sense to use something else, there's nothing wrong with getting some external help. because you need to be where your target market is. And if that's not, if you're not capable of getting there or not interested in going there, somebody needs to have you there. So keep that in mind as well. So
I think we're also blessed in the respect that in this day and age, in 2022, the market is everywhere for the most part. Everyone is everywhere. So I think, yes, it's important to figure out where your market is, and you can truly define where they are on the platform. But I think you should start by figuring out what that platform is specifically that you want to engage with, especially if you're just starting off. Because you can become overwhelmed with a specific platform, and maybe that's the platform that your coach or consultant advised for you to use. But if you're overwhelmed by that platform and it's not something that you are excited to interact with or understand, it's going to create that much more of a hurdle for you to begin. So start off with something that you're comfortable with so that you can gain that understanding for yourself before you attempt to move on to an alternate platform where there may be a larger abundance of your audience. So
okay, excellent. So definitely, you're going to evolve, but you can only do what you can do, and you can only learn so much so fast. But like you said, you have to focus. So just pick one. The right one, but do some planning to figure out what the right one is or whatever. But you have to start somewhere, and you want to be effective in whatever you're doing. So that's cool. So what other types of technology or strategies do you have for saving time? I mean, the pandemic has really caused me to look at my business in many ways, and I've improved my productivity manyfold by implementing different technology solutions, as well as bringing some support onto my team. I think there's probably like 20 online platforms that I use for different things. So what are some of the common ones you use and you help other people use?
So one of the ones that I feel is one of the top notch, which is Salesforce. It is a program that it's a client relationship management program. I'm sure most of the audience has heard of this, but I think it's one of the few programs that is capable of being integrated with so many other different platforms. It streamlines your ability to organize your office. It is, in essence, a virtual office space. It tends to be one that I find serves the financial services profession in a very tremendous manner. And I find for those that are not under a corporate umbrella, in the same respect, I would suggest Moxtra or Moxo.com is another really good client relationship management program. Only Moxo serves as more of an online office space than it does just a client relationship management program. So it includes a CRM, but it also is another platform that is able to be integrated with a number of different tools and technology. So those would be my two time savers for those who are looking for, an all-in-one solution to manage their practice in a digital form.
Okay. So CRMs, customer relationship management.
Yeah.
Familiar with Salesforce. It can be a little hefty for small business owners. So I found that usually it probably is better if there's a sales team as opposed to more of an individual. But having some sort of CRM is good. I use HubSpot and use Active Campaign, which has a CRM, but I don't use their CRM. But it's not bad. So, but the big thing is, same with everything else, get the CRM that you'll use. And sometimes it's best to start out with something small just to understand what a CRM is, because it can be overwhelming and they can do so many things. But if you don't know how to do them, then it's not gonna happen. So definitely, having a CRM is key. Do you do anything with workflow management systems? And are there any you recommend?
That's actually what I was going to mention was Moxo is truly, it's more of an online office space. You can integrate your workflow management system. You can integrate the CRM that's in it. You have online filing. So there's digital storage included. There's quite a bit of different pieces that are included in this particular platform. And it truly does almost kind of streamline all the processes into one. And because it's capable of being integrated with so many other platforms, such as HubSpot or MailChimp, for the different email programs and campaigns that you might run, there's different pieces that you can just literally integrate into Moxo to have a centralized location for your practice. So it's almost as if you've transported your offline office space into an online office space is truly what Moxo is. And I think that both in it's got an abundance of tools, but it's also a price point that is, I feel, very affordable for even the average entrepreneur. So.
Okay. No, that's great. Definitely, having workflow management, having everything in one place and being able to use it and manipulate it is key. I'm going to have to check out Moxo. I use Podio for mine right now, but there's different options, and but having something like that, being virtual, being in the cloud, makes such a difference in terms of your productivity, in terms of the way that you can collaborate with others and communicate with others, and save time, because a lot of things happen automatically instead of you having to do things. And my favorite thing that I've done is the calendar, because that has saved me so much time. Scheduling, especially coaching a lot of different people and everything, sending them a link to schedule. It works really well. So, okay, so we've covered a whole bunch of stuff. 1 hour goes really fast when you're talking small business, but what I always like to do is, given all we've talked about, maybe if you can take a minute to just talk about 3 key things that people should take away from this that they can implement immediately, and should implement immediately within their business. So, I'll give you a second to sort of collect your thoughts, but that's always a good takeaway, because a lot of times you can only remember 3 things. Your mind works a different way. So, leaving you with 3 key things to sum it up. We have the recording, so you can come back and check it out in the same location where you are now. So, definitely looking at that. And we'll just take a break. Many of you may know, but you may not know about my most recent book called The Masterpreneur Playbook. So something you may want to check out if you're trying to grow your business. It's a 5-step growth plan to go from startup to scaling your business. So I'll show a quick video, and then we'll come back, and Lori will close us out with things that you should take away from what we talked about today. Sounds good?
Excellent.
This is my most recent. It's not even available yet.
Oh, it's not? Okay.
The Masterpreneur Playbook.
Okay.
And really, we talked about is there's 5 steps to growing your business.
Yeah.
And, really laying out what those steps are, but not only what the steps are, how do you transition through them? And, each stage, you have certain things, there's a certain challenge that you have to overcome.
Right.
There's a certain goal you have to achieve.
Right.
There's a certain role you have as a business owner.
Right.
There's a certain structure that you need to have within your business to support that role and move into the next role. So each step, I lay out what those things are.
Wonderful.
Because each one of those has a key skill that you have to have as the business owner. You have to evolve and continually learn, or you're going to get stuck. You can only go as far as you're prepared to take it.
Welcome back to Leadership Live at 8:05. I'm here with Lori Brooks, and we're talking about innovative solutions to save you more time. Lori's going to share 3 key things that you can take away from this that will help you in your efforts to be more effective, use your time more wisely, and get better results as a business owner. Take us away, Lori.
Awesome. So I will say that first up, we'll start off with the 4D strategy to remember to delete, delegate, dominate, and delay so that you can streamline all your processes throughout the day and save yourself at least an hour a day on a regular basis. 2, set an email autoresponder. Put it on a schedule of some sort. Most people spend an enormous amount of time in their email inbox throughout the day. You don't need to. Just take it off of your plate. Put it on a responder. Save yourself that period of time. Last but not least, put saving time on your to-do list. It's something that nobody thinks to put on their to-do list. Focus on the idea that you'd like to be able to save time and begin managing your time by blocking it out throughout the week. So 4D strategy: delete, delegate, dominate, and delay. Be sure to set an email autoresponder and add saving time to your to-do list.
Great advice and valuable things. Thank you for sharing such great information. Definitely, you've got Lori's LinkedIn, you've got Lori's website. Lori likes to connect with people, and so don't be afraid to reach out to her. Also, Lori has her More Time program, and you can, if you want, reach out to her. You can learn more about it from her website, but she's willing to really make a special offer if you are one of the guests and tuned in. So reach out to her and ask her about it, and she'll let you know. Fair enough?
Definitely.
Okay, great. Lori, anything else you want to share before we close out?
Andrew, thank you for having me.
No.
This has been a ton of fun, and I will tell you and your audience a secret. This is the first time I have been interviewed on camera. I've done a million interviews, but I have not been interviewed. So thank you for this opportunity, Andrew. I truly appreciate it.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. You have such a nice smile, so that we can actually see it, and so it's great, and glad to have you on view, and definitely should do more as you go forward, because definitely. So thank you again. Hang out for a few minutes. We can chat afterwards, but let me just close things out. So, once again, I appreciate everybody tuning in and, participating in this evening's. Thank Lori for sharing her expertise. And, really each week we have some tremendous people sharing valuable stuff. And next week is no exception. Next week we have Walter Hill Jr., where he's talking about thinking red flags, think profits. And actually that's part of what his new book is about. He's experienced entrepreneur with more than 40 years experience, built $1 million businesses, and sharing some of the key things and red flags that people run into, and ways to make your business more profitable and avoid like the costly pitfalls. So I'm very much looking forward to chatting with him. He's coming in from the West Coast, so it'll be won't be as late for him as it is for us, but that's cool. And one other thing, actually, I was chatting with Lori about. I have a surprise in terms of starting February 1st. We're not only going to be on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. We're going to be joining the metaverse. And, so that's pretty exciting. Lori's working on the metaverse and her future plans as well, which is great. She knows more about it than I do, but so when you reach out to her, you can ask her. But I've got February 1st, Tyrone Taborn. He's going to talk about the metaverse. Don't miss the opportunity. So many things are going to be key there. And he's created STEM City USA, which is a metaverse online, and that's where we're going to be hosted in the metaverse. So don't miss that as well. So every week, we have some great people. And if for some reason you can't make it live, definitely you can check out the recording, but live is always better. So take care. Always remember that the more you know, the faster your business will grow.
Thank you for listening to Leadership Live at 8:05, Talking Small Business. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and to the podcast on your favorite podcast platform. Leadership Live is one of the many valuable resources provided through the Small Business Pro University, empowering business owners to learn, profit, and grow. Find out more at sbpro.u.com.